Hey, welcome back to day 53, 50, 54, 55, Project Me. Today's a bit of a special one, and the reason for that is because about 1 year ago, about a year ago, I started this project for myself, and I thought that now would be a very fitting time to sort of reflect and talk about where I'm at now. It'd be interesting, I think. So, the reason I started this was all because I had a very bad 2-week period around this time last year of terrible mental health for myself. Certainly not the worst I'd had, but it was not easy and it was not fun. And for that reason, I decided I needed to do something about it. I journaled in the past. That hadn't really worked for me. So I thought I'd try something a bit more, not necessarily interactive, but certainly something where I could just sort of freely flow my ideas and think aloud and work through my problems in a different way. That was like journaling, but something else, something a bit different. And so I chose videos. A bit odd, and even odder to post it on YouTube. But I thought, well, if anyone would find my journey of ups and downs interesting or useful in any way, then I and them hopefully would be all the better for it. So I started posting it publicly as opposed to keeping the videos private. And I'm glad I did. There are a few absolutely wonderful people out there who have been with me so many steps of the way, and their votes of support, their kind words just mean so much, and it very much makes a difference. And I love hearing from them as well. In any case, in a way, that's a way of saying thank you for sticking around and for pushing me forward as well, and for the invaluable advice and objective opinion and second thoughts and everything. It's just been so wonderful, so helpful, and I'm so eternally grateful for your role in shaping where I am today. And there is still an enormous amount of work to do, and there will never not be an enormous amount of work to do, but that's okay. The fact is, a year ago today, I was not doing well. I'd let the dark thoughts in my head really sort of twist me around. I succumbed to them in a very real way. I was absolutely miserable, and to say I lashed out against people I knew is by far an exaggeration, but I certainly wasn't behaving at my best. I was never a dick to anyone, by no means, but you could just tell by looking at me that there was something very, very wrong. Nevertheless, I got through it alone, and I told myself I couldn't do that again. I couldn't do it again. Certainly not alone, but I didn't, and I still don't have anyone in my life I can fully open myself to. So this project was the best thing that I came up with, and like I said, it's been a journey of ups and downs, and I'm grateful for how much progress has been made in that time. We've done 54, 55 something videos now, and you know, the focus of these videos has shifted over time as well. But I'm glad to say that I think that the core interest in making these videos has remained the same throughout. And at first it was just talking about my day and any problems that came up. And gradually it's changed to be just issues that come up. Partly because now I'm having a lot of the problems I faced earlier on, I no longer have to deal with as much. I mean, they're still very relevant to my life. I still confront them all the time, but they don't bother me as much. And I think that's just a progress in maturing. Just a signal of progress, which I'm proud of. I think it shows that I have made a few steps, and I'm a little bit closer to where I'm destined to be, wherever that is. Now I tend to still talk about issues that bother me, but now I do tend to talk a lot more about the bigger ideas that I grapple with, which is not necessarily better or worse. It's just different, and that's good. I think I'd rather talk about these more important abstract ideas, and sometimes talk about, you know, the little ones that bother me, as opposed to just talking about little ones, you know. But at the end of the day, progress has been made, and I'm happy with that. In some ways, I'm no farther sounded like a different word there, than I was a year ago. I'm still, I mean, I've shared my thoughts on happiness here before. I'm still not, happy. I'm not satisfied. I'm ambitious. There's no doubt about that. So I'm not surprised that I'm unsatisfied. I always want more, for good or ill. Although I do hate that about human nature. I've become closer with some people, which I'm very happy about. But in so many very real ways, I'm in the exact same place I was in a year ago. And over the next 2 weeks, I have a bit of a break from lectures. I won't be on vacation by any means. There's always too much to do. But I have to put some time aside to think about where and how I can make progress in these other areas of my life. How can I progress myself? One of them, I think, is learning to open up to people more. I've noticed that as I've gone through periods of my life alone, and I've made it through, and then at a later point I notice that other people get help for the same problems I went through, I tend to get bitter or regretful, because they're getting the help that I needed, but couldn't ask for. And it hurts. It really does hurt to see other people get help that you needed back in the day. And I'm just saying that as a way of how I feel. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I wish I didn't feel that way. But it's hard. It's really hard to witness that. And I've noticed that when I do feel that way, like I said, I've gotten a little bit bitter, a little bit bitter, and I take this sort of twisted pride in not having asked for help then. I tend to think I'm bitter because I didn't ask for help. I made it through by myself. But the truth is, I was weak for not asking for help. I thought I was strong, but no. And the weakness isn't just the fact that I failed to ask for help, it's also the fact that now I'm taking pride in my regretful solitude, right? And so one of the things I need to work on is learning to open up to people. Learning to say the words, help me, which I know will not come easily for me. I like to challenge myself, and that has this absurd and masochistic consequence of wandering blindly into pain and suffering sometimes. It's not out of any desire to feel pain, it's not out of any joy, but I wander in blindly simply to see if I can take it, and to feed my egotistical pride that I don't need or shouldn't ask for help. And I know that's not okay. So I need to get better at talking to people. And the major obstacle for that I've come to realize over the last few days, but I've known for quite a while, is that I need to understand that people like me simply for who I am. That people will care for me simply for who I am. I'm not... And this is a whole other can of worms that we can get into at another point. But part of my... I'll fully admit that in some ways I'm very arrogant. I suppress so much of it because I recognize it. But there are times and situations where it seeps through. And one of the ways that it seeps through is that I know myself to have moments of, pure goodness. I want nothing but the best for people. I like to think those moments are more than a fair few, and quite often. But I know myself that I have the capacity to be a very good person, and yet I find it so unfathomable to me that other people can also simply want to do good for no other reason they're doing good. I find that very thought completely alien to me. And on that track, following that, I have such a hard time believing that people like me simply for who I am, or people will help me simply because they like me, or will stand by me simply because they want to stand by me. For no other reason than it's me being me. It's completely unfathomable, and I need to change that belief. I'm not sure how. I think the next step is learning to love myself, and the rest will come, but I genuinely don't know, and it's something I have to think a lot more about. But we're going to wrap it up there. I have my work cut out for me. I know what I need to do. I just don't know how to do it. Which is not altogether that much relief, but at least I know what the step after the next will be, even if I don't know what the next step will be. In any case, wishing you all the best. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart so much. So much. I hope this reaches as many of you as it can, simply so you get to hear me say thank you. But no matter where you're in the world, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, evening, night, second breakfast, morning, afternoon tea, dessert. Could do with the dessert. Anyways, guys, cheers.